I am not happy. Liverpool 9 points clear at the top, 15 points clear of Manchester City. And if anyone was going to take points off Liverpool, it'd have been this Bournemouth side that beat Forest 5-0, who have just beat Brighton 7-0. Kirkes, Semenyo, Kluivert, Huijsen. Bournemouth got some fantastic players, but Liverpool, they just had that extra quality. Kluivert missing a sitter, and then 5 minutes later, Salah comes up and scores an unbelievable goal. Mo Salah needs to be stopped. As a Man United fan, I hate this. I'm going to be honest, because if Liverpool win, they equal our 20 titles. And to see players like Ryan Gravenberch, that was at Ajax, that Ten Hag could have brought to our club, but instead he brings in Anthony and he balls out for Liverpool. Hurts. Gakpo, Gravenberch. We could have had Gakpo and Gravenberch instead of Amrabat and Anthony, because they were the Gakpo was the Anthony alternative, Gravenberch was the Amrabat alternative. Erik Ten Hag, man. But let's talk about Liverpool 2-0 Bournemouth, because it wasn't an easy game for Liverpool. As I said, Bournemouth have got a lot of quality. And I want to talk about Gravenberch. I want to talk about Salah. I also thought Robertson, who's got a lot of stick lately, had a very good game. So credit to him. I'm going to talk about, unfortunately, why I think Liverpool are going to win the league. Arsenal haven't signed a striker. If Arsenal don't sign a striker, they're not catching Liverpool. You know, that's just true. There's 15 games left. They're 9 points clear. Bournemouth, if someone was going to take points off them, would have been there. Arsenal haven't signed a striker. Forest are great, but I just don't think they would do it. City are 15 points behind. Newcastle have dropped points and 15 points behind. These are the statistics. I think Liverpool probably deserved to win. I think had it been 1-1, you'd have said, well done, Bournemouth. They fought hard and they worked hard for it. But I think Liverpool did enough to win the game. You look at the XG, 2.66 to 1.0. Kluivert definitely should have scored. Crazy that he didn't. I put him on the bench, actually, in FPL, so... not a big blow for me. If Kluivert was in my FPL team and he missed that, I'd have been fuming. I was assuming that he missed, but if he was in my FPL team, I would have been even more fuming. But let's dive into this. So this was the Liverpool lineup. Thought Robertson looked better. Maybe the rest midweek helped. Trent's gone off injured. Don't know what that'll be, but didn't look good. Van Dijk making it look easy. McAllister probably lucky to stay on the pitch, but I actually think he had a good game. Saw negativity around Szoboszlai online, but I think Szoboszlai's pressing and movement, and because he does a lot off the ball, I think sometimes Szoboszlai's performances will go under the radar. But Mo Salah and Gravenberch, I think, were the ones that stole the show. Before I even give you my general thoughts, let's talk about Ryan Gravenberch, who is one of my favourite players. When you signed Ryan Gravenberch, you did a video on him. And then when Ryan Gravenberch, about this time last year, did a video on him when he wasn't playing loads for Liverpool, because I spoke about who he is and what he can add, because he was one of my favourite players at Ajax. So another reason why I'm really annoyed that Ten Hag didn't bring him, and he brought Anthony. But he was phenomenal today. I remember he had like 3 players around him and the little turn. He is, the way I describe Ryan Gravenberch is press resistant. He is the definition of press resistant. But you can't just be great on the ball and press resistant. You've got to be an athlete. You've got to be good off the ball. You've got to be a ball winner. And that's what Ryan Gravenberch is. He gives you what you want on the ball. I mean, the fact that he could just around players, you know what I mean. It's crazy. 2 key passes, 9 out of 13 duels won, 7 tackles. Bournemouth is not an easy game. Semenyo, unbelievable player. Kluivert, obviously they don't have players like Evan Nielsen that are threatening. Lewis Cook, one of the most underrated players in the league. Ryan Christie, really underrated player. But 7 tackles, 4 interceptions, 9 out of 13 duels won. Liverpool won today because they won the midfield battle. They were winning the duels in midfield, and that was Gravenberch. He's known for being brilliant on the ball, a great ball carrier, press resistant, but he was winning the duels. He was making the tackles. He was receiving the ball from Konate. He was progressing play. He was there cutting Bournemouth out, because it was not an easy game. Semenyo and Kirkes caused Trent issues. Bradley, I thought, did quite well going forward, but there was times where Semenyo got the better of him. They're 2 excellent players. The 2 players I spoke about that Liverpool might look at because of the Richard Hughes links to Bournemouth in the summer, and some rumours about that. But yeah, he was unbelievable today. I also think him having an actual rest for a change midweek did him lots of favours. And maybe not getting Supermende was a blessing in disguise, because Gravenberch at DM, who's been a better player than Gravenberch in the DM role this season? Like, Casado's been good, but I wouldn't say he's been as good as Gravenberch. Like, Gravenberch, Palmer, Kulusevski, Casado, like, they've all had good seasons, but Gravenberch's probably been maybe the best midfielder in the league this season. Am I missing someone obvious? But maybe he's been unbelievable, because you could argue that Gravenberch, in a way, Salah will be player of the season, because what Salah's done, those numbers are just ridiculous, and that's not normal. But Gravenberch has been as key as Salah. So is Van Dijk this season. Like, he's been unbelievable. But he was my man of the match, not just for his turning ability in tight spaces, the ability that's press resistant to pick the ball off Konate, spray it forward, recycle play, but he won the midfield battle state, and that's what got Liverpool the win. On the ball, press resistant, uses his body well. I think, he's so persistent on the ball because he's got that 6-foot frame, but he uses his body well. He doesn't get pushed off. He uses his body well, gets players out the way, can make the turn. I think his back to goal, make the turn, touch is such a good attribute to have, and I think you need that in players at top level. But also, like when Liverpool signed him, he was a number 8 that was a monster ball carrier that could drive from deep. He was a number 8 but in a dual pivot that could drive from deep. That was the play he was at Ajax. Great ball carrier. Didn't see as much of that today, but you know that he can run the pitch with the ball. You know that he can break lines with his passing. The reason he plays over Endo is because he can play with his back to goal and then make those progressive passes. But he's known for his on-the-ball abilities, but off the ball, when I spoke about in pre-season back in August, could Gravenberch be as a DM? I said on the ball, yes. But I said off the ball, there could be question marks maybe about positioning and all of that. I said he's got the frame. If he can use his long legs to his advantage and win the duels, then great. But off the ball, he's been immense this season. Winning duels, 7 tackles today, covering ground, positionally smart, intelligent. And that's what you want in a player. It was like, I feel like Gravenberch this season is almost like a new signing because you didn't see the best on him under Klopp. Even Gakpo this season probably looks like a new signing to an extent of like he's finally being used left wing in his best position. I think that's something that Slot's got spot on, is actually using his best players in their best positions. But I've been speaking way too long about Gravenberch. I actually need to talk about my other notes. Liverpool are 9 points clear, 15 ahead of City. Sadly, nobody is catching them. Bournemouth, as I said, smashed Forest 5-0. And then that team just beat Brighton 7-0. So that's the type of team you're playing. Bournemouth are good, Semenyo, Kirk has doubled up on Trent. They look threatening. Their offside goal was really good, by the way. Well, it was offside. And I thought Van Dijk and Alisson made it look easy. Alisson made some good saves because was it Gravenberch that nearly scored an own goal? And Van Dijk just, it was the type of game where Liverpool in the past may have dropped points. Or if Liverpool's going to drop points, it's a Newcastle, it's a Bournemouth, Fulham, tough game, and you went down to 10 men. So to win that game and just make sure you've got the 9-point lead. Arsenal got City next, put pressure on them. City could win that game. You could have a 9-point lead with a game in hand against Everton, who've just won 4-0, by the way. But that's crazy. As I said, Robertson deserves credit. I thought he looked much better. He made some crucial tackles. Thought defensively he did really well and also got forward at times. Bournemouth had chances, but I think the difference was Salah. Salah's goal was a worldie. Obviously, puts the penalty away. Couldn't have done much better for that. I'm a bit confused about the foul for the penalty. I've only seen the angle that's going viral on Twitter, so I don't know if there's another angle to show that there was contact. Because from what I've seen, it looks like Gravenberch clipped his heel, his own heel. But I don't know if that's Arsenal fans only putting out that angle to rage about it. So I would have to see what the other angle was. But I think there was contact from what I remember seeing in live time. But it was very well taken penalty from Salah. Unless VAR just triple captain Salah like I did this week and thought give him a penalty. I thought Bournemouth made it difficult. But Salah, that worldie, Kluivert misses it to Salah scores the worldie. That's just the difference. McAllister, you could argue, was lucky to stay on. I think that was the right sub, putting Jones on. I thought Jones did well. Bradley looked full of energy when he came on, but it's difficult defensively down his side. And I thought, looking at that game, Semenyo Kirkhead's great, but I think Huijsen would be a top signing. If you lose Van Dijk, Huijsen, I think, is the next Van Dijk. He's the next signing to get. And apparently he's got a release clause. Someone said it's 38 million. I think it might be more than that. But if that's true, then Liverpool should be all over that to replace Van Dijk. And even Kwanzaa needs to go out on loan. Joe Gomez and Konate have injury issues. Liverpool should be all over Huijsen. And I think they should go for a Semenyo and Mbeumo. Maybe Semenyo because he can play on the left and on the right and more versatile. I think we'll talk about that in another video. But let's give credit to Mo Salah. 2 goals today, 2 key passes, 6 out of 11 duels won. Mo Salah does what Mo Salah does best, and that is score, that is impact the game, that is win the game, that is win points, that is get into dangerous areas, get off a dangerous shot, 2 out of 3 successful dribbles. That's what he does. And Mo Salah is the most against Europe's top 5 leagues for goals, assists, expected goals, and touches in the penalty area. 259, which is crazy. I think the fact that Mo Salah is having 259 touches in the penalty area game shows what just a threatening player Mo Salah is. He's always getting in the right area. He's always getting in the danger zone. He's always got goals in him and all of that. And I was speaking to people about FPL and they're like, don't triple Sapting Salah. He's not looked as good lately. He might fall off. Bournemouth for a tough side. And I said, just don't doubt Salah. Salah will score. Salah will get in the right area and get a goal. He's got the most touches in the opposition's box this whole season. My big question is he's got 42 goal contributions already this season, which is an absolute joke. He's on track for a 60 goal contribution season at age 32 in the toughest league in the world. How do Liverpool replace him? Because Van Dijk you can't really replace, but Højlund in a few years could be the next Van Dijk. Trent, I think right back's one of those positions where you can replace him, but Trent again is a one in a lifetime player with the crosses, and the passing and everything. But Salah, how do you replace Salah? Because Mbeumo's great and everything, and he gets goals and assists, but like Salah, how do you replace Salah? Like, can you? It's not like you got Henry or Ronaldo or like I'm trying to think out there, like who will be the next Mo Salah? Who will be that next guy that can play on the right hand side that's a bit like a full? I don't know. Like that's surely he's getting given a new contract. But Salah is a title winning player. But let's look at Liverpool and their fixtures. Obviously, they can rest players against Plymouth for the Everton game. Everton Wolves, they should win those 2 games. City will be difficult, but I think City won't catch them. Newcastle will be difficult. And then they've got Southampton, Villa, Everton, Fulham, West Ham. So they've got a mix of games, some easy, 1 or 2 difficult coming up. But look, I just think Liverpool will sadly, comfortably, probably win the league. I do want to give a shout out to Andy Robertson today, though. These were his statistics: 90 minutes played, 33 out of 38 passes, 1 key pass, 1 big chance created, 2 out of 3 duels, 1 successful dribble. When I looked at Bournemouth, their only threat was the left-hand side, Semenyo Kirkes. I don't think Trent had a bad game. I just think that Trent was always going to have a difficult game when you look at just like who he was playing against. Do you know what I mean? But I thought that Liverpool's left-hand side was quite good, particularly in the first half. I actually thought Gakpo was one of the livelier players in the first half. I know he won the penalty and everything. I think he was looking to make things happen. But look, Liverpool fans, let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know how you're feeling. Sadly, I think you're going to win the Premier League and walk away with it quite easily. I don't see anyone catching you. I'm just trying to think, like, City are 15 points behind. Arsenal haven't signed a striker. I just don't see you dropping 15 points. Like in these next 14 games to drop 15 points. I mean, you never know, injuries and everything. I don't see it happening. Thank you for watching. Bye.